This is Cooking with the Bells. What are we making today?
Well, we're going to start with making a vanilla Coke. Because I don't know about your grocery store, but mine has been sold out for months.
I love flavored soda.
So we're going to start with 3/4 cup of water, 3/4 cup of sugar. And I'm just going to stir that together and get that going on our stove over here.
So basically, you're starting out with like a simple syrup.
Yes.
Great.
Exactly. Over here.
So you can actually use this recipe before putting in the vanilla to sweeten your teas if you have family members who like unsweet tea but you like sweet tea. That because you know how the sugar doesn't quite dissolve if the tea is already cold. So with the simple syrup, since that's a nice sweet liquid, you can mix it in with a cold tea and it would just be perfect. It's also great for making a hot tea, which we use simple syrups a lot in our drinks. If you have watched our full English breakfast episode, we make a lavender simple syrup.
Yes. And if you watched our spatchcock chicken episode, we made a rosemary simple syrup.
That's true. So we like simple syrups around here. So this is just currently a plain simple syrup, but then we're going to add vanilla to it.
Yes. Simple syrups are an excellent way to add a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of flavor to your drinks. And I mean, I know we really love them in my family because no one can agree on a flavor. So everyone has their own flavor, and then we can just mix our drinks in our own glass. Right, so like magic, it's been about 5 minutes. Probably actually been longer than that. This has been boiling about 5 minutes, our water sugar mixture.
You're just trying to make sure that sugar gets dissolved and that water just completely dissolved. That's the goal here.
And now we're just gonna add a tablespoon. This is a half tablespoon, so I'm gonna put 2 in. Of vanilla extract. And I highly recommend, if you can, getting like a pure vanilla extract, not the imitation. Just because the imitation can lead to a funny flavor sometimes, especially when you're cooking it for this application.
And I think especially if you're storing your simple syrup in the fridge, sometimes I think sitting, it gets a weird taste to it. But if you want a really strong vanilla flavor, I think the 1 tablespoon to the 3/4 cup of sugar and 3/4 cup of water is good. But if you want a like a lighter vanilla flavor, you can definitely up that with just increasing a 1-to-1 ratio of the sugar and water mixture. So a cup of sugar and a cup of water, and then still the 1 tablespoon of vanilla.
Made a baby mess.
It happens. So we're just transferring that simple syrup, vanilla simple syrup, into a mason jar. And we're just going to clean up our little baby mess real quick because nobody likes a sugary tablecloth.
It gets sticky real fast.
But there's a reason why we use these tablecloths instead of like a regular fabric one. We make messes. It's life.
Alright. So to make vanilla Coke, now all we do is add vanilla syrup into our Coke. And I usually do about a tablespoon, personally.
I'm a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half. So in our jars today, we have a full can of Coke per cup with a little ice. But you can always just add in a half tablespoon at a time until you decide that that's where you want it. Because you can always add more, you can't add less. Well, I guess you could technically have less if you added more Coke to balance it out.
It's true.
Just a little more here. Remember, it is sweetened though, so it is going to add some real sugar to your drink.
And we do have a lid for this, but I'm just going to let it cool off before we lid it. You do want this cool before you, like, cap it off and chunk it in your fridge.
Yes.
Squirrely, squiggly, fun times.
Yep, and cheers!
Cheers! Miss this.
Yes, it's perfect. I could see why in the old days people went to like the soda fountain.
Oh, yes.
So, what else do we got going today? I ask right as she takes a drink.
Alright, so the other thing we're gonna make today is actually some quick pickles. So in this, I just have a pint jar. I like to make these by the pint instead of the quart, because whenever you do quick pickles, we're not salting them and getting all of the liquid out of the cucumber, so that I just feel like they don't stay crisp as long, so I don't like making huge batches of them. If I'm going to make the huge batches, I'm going to go through the salting process and the full canning process, whereas this is fairly simple. You pour them up, let them come to room temperature, put them in the fridge, and in 8 hours you have pickles.
Perfect for like the day before a barbecue or any kind of cookout, or just because.
Well, and they're so quick, I take my day off, so I usually have Sundays off, and I just, after I eat breakfast, I make a batch of quick pickles, and then I have pickles for the week, and I just do that as long as I can find good cucumbers, which winter months and like late summer, sometimes it's a little hard, but we take what we can get.
Right.
So in this pan, I have a cup of water, and then I'm going to add a cup and a half of white distilled vinegar. Super simple. A lot of people like a 1-to-1 ratio water to vinegar. I like a little extra kick from my vinegar. Plus, a lot of this does dissolve out because we are still going to boil the mixture. So I'm actually going to get this on so it can start getting hot. And then I'll tell you about our spices. Hard to tell when it's lit outside.
The joys of working outside. We love it. We hate it.
Yes. So, like I said, in the jar, I have just packed as densely as I can 1 large cucumber, and then I have 3 smashed cloves of garlic in here. And then in this bowl, I have 5 cloves, and they're just the whole cloves, so you can see. And then I have half a tablespoon of whole coriander seeds, a teaspoon of mustard, a teaspoon of fennel, and then I have 3 tablespoons of dill. What's really good, our supermarket didn't have any good fresh dill, and my dill plant is not looking too hot right now, sadly. So I'm using dried dill, but if you have fresh dill available to you, about 3 sprigs of fresh dill is just perfect, and you would just stuff your fresh dill into the jar with your cucumbers. But alas, we do not have fresh dill at this point in time. So I'm just going to dump all of these spices into our pot. And if you miss that list of spices, or you need to read it, because I'm also one of those types of people, we'll have the recipe as always linked in the description below. Just gonna add those, and now we're just gonna bring that mixture up to a boil, and once it comes up to a boil, we're gonna let it boil for 2-3 minutes just to give it a little bit of time to infuse under the heat. And then we'll pour it on our pickles. So we'll be back after it comes to a boil. All right, it's probably been about 10-ish minutes, but our mixture of vinegar, water, and the spices has come to a boil, and it's been boiling for about 3 minutes.
And it is smelling great.
I will say I love doing this recipe outside just because we all know the smell of boiling vinegar can get a little overwhelming
Yeah.
in a closed space, but the all the dill smells very good. I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
So now that we have this piping hot liquid, we're quite literally just going to pour it on top of our pickles. I'm actually going to take these two out just to give me a little bit of depth. And apparently keep making a mess.
That's what we do.
But it's okay.
Every episode, you come here to watch us make messes. It's what we do. Today just happens to be a day where we're
Making multiple.
But that's okay. Vinegar is good for cleaning, and we needed to clean this tablecloth anyway.
Exactly. The smells are just a bonus. The dill, the fragrance that we put in
The
it.
aromatics.
Okay. So then we're gonna see if we can get these two pickles to fit. I say pickles, they're still cucumbers. I think we're gonna only be able to get one to fit. But that's okay. So then what I'm
You
gonna
can have
do
half of a spa day.
is I'm gonna take the back side of this spoon and I'm just gonna kind of judge around to get as many air bubbles out as possible, because air bubbles are not our friend for this particular instance.
You have one hiding behind the garlic clove right there.
And you just want to get as many out as you can.
What is the purpose of that?
So anywhere where there's an air bubble, you could have a pocket of bacteria that can start to grow.
Oh.
And we've, in a lot of ways, have made the perfect environment. In theory, there is enough vinegar. That's why I like a heavier vinegar to water ratio. That it shouldn't be a problem, but it's one of those things you can never be too careful. And I think that looks pretty good. So you just want to make sure everything is nice and submerged. And then I go ahead and loosely, do not tighten this all the way. Like, I get it till it's just finger tight, or if I want to crank it more, it's going to turn the glass, and then I undo it by half. And then you're going to let that come to room temperature. Put it in your fridge. In about 6 hours, you have some yummy dill pickles, and they'll be good in your fridge for about 3 months. Always keep them refrigerated. These have not been canned or sealed like any of the larger processes that you can do to make pickles. That's why they're quick pickles.
Do you always leave it not fully tightened for the entire time that it's in the fridge?
Once it's cooled off and you're putting it in the fridge, you can go ahead and tighten it.
Okay.
It's just so if an air bubble escapes or something like that while it's cooling, you want there to be room for the lid to kind of
Okay,
pop in.
great.
It's just safety.
Perfect.
I personally like to consume them within a week, just because, like I said, since we haven't salted them or done any of that, I think they get a little soggy after a week. They don't quite have that crunch. But the choice is always yours.
All right, well, I think that's it for today, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
if you liked it, you can hit like down below.
And if you want to keep seeing more of us, it'd be wonderful if you'd hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you know when we upload new videos.
And if you want to see this recipe all nice and written out, we're also going to link it, or we're going to link our website down below as well, so you can go directly to that recipe. And maybe you can look around and find some things to use the quick pickles on while you're there. But we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Bye.